Check, check, check. Doing some testing. It should be working. Check, check. Oh. All right. Seems like one of our scenes was not working properly, but now you should be able to hear me. And what a best way to start with the sound on than to tell you about what we're celebrating this month and the special guests that we have tonight, as well as the rest of the guests that we have throughout this whole month of May 2021. Especially as we've been talking to our guests, they've been saying that this particular year is a year that more awareness has been actually happening throughout the country. This is the Asian American and Pacific Islander AAPI Heritage Month. This month commemorates the community and encompasses a wide range of cultures and lived experiences, and each one is an important part of the American narrative. Their stories are American stories, and their voices deserve to be heard. That's why we're highlighting a few of the stories from our AAPI artists to help people find connection and understanding, but amplifying their words through their music. Through the Jazz Exchange live sessions, we explore how to best use music as a means of larger issues of culture, race, and society. We use our platform to express, discuss, and connect, to raise awareness and break down perceptions of stereotypes of all races and cultures. In light of the recent tragedies associated with anti-Asian violence and hate, let's get inspired by people spreading hope and solidarity. The Jazz Exchange stands with the AAPI community in bringing awareness. You will hear from Asian American artists who are doing innovative work that uplifts our diverse communities through their music and work. And with that being said, I'd like to bring our very special guest this evening. He's a friend of mine. He's an amazing musician. He is a very hardworking man, and I'm very pleased to have him on. How are you doing, Mr. Peter Lin?
What's going on, Abel? How are you
Hey,
doing?
I'm doing good, man. You gotta send me a check for saying all those nice things about you.
That's man. We like everyone probably knows, but we literally talk to each other every day, not only through
Oh
this,
my
but
God.
through Yardbird Entertainment as well. So this will just be an extended part of what we do every day. But this will be nice because we can actually talk to each other outside of
I know, right?
doing a bunch of videos and stuff. So.
Exactly. I'm trying to figure out where the line is to try to. Okay, now we're just chilling.
Yeah.
We're talking. We're having a conversation.
Don't check your email. Don't check your email.
Actually, I was pretty intrigued, man, because I was thinking about this interview and I was like, I talk to you every day and stuff, and I know about you. Yeah, I've known you for some time, and I was in your wedding. Candace and I were in your wedding and everything. But then I think there's still so many things that I don't know about you.
Oh yeah.
Some good
And
ones.
you might never know.
Some good ones, some bad ones, I bet,
Uh-oh.
But let's talk about the good ones probably, No, really, really appreciate your time, even though, like you said, like we talk all the time. I didn't know if you're gonna say yes to another hour and a half of conversations with me. So I really appreciate it. How you doing? You doing today? How you doing? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing
cool?
okay. I took a nap before this, so
Oh, that's good.
I'm a little rested, but yeah,
I hear those
good.
vocal cords a little bit rested now.
I have my bubble tea with
Oh,
me.
bubble tea.
Everyone,
jeez.
Clubhouse is probably really enjoys this. we have about 12 people listening.
Oh, hey, those 12
Yeah.
people listening.
Hey.
We have some other people too checking out YouTube and Facebook, like every Wednesday, man. Tell us where you at in the world, man, just so the people knows what's going on with you.
I am here in the fabulous land of New Jersey, North Jersey to be exact, Essex County to be more exact, yeah, don't find me, but Bloomfield to be the most exact. Bloomfield, New Jersey. A lot of people don't know where that is. I usually say it's right next to Montclair, New Jersey, because
it's a better known town, right, Montclair. But no, I like Bloomfield for sure. I was just
Hmm.
remembering that you said that they're building a park right next to your place, so that's
They
gonna be
are.
cool, man. It's
Yeah, it's going to be really nice to get some outside time.
yeah, yeah. I hope
It's right outside.
I hope people are doing that because obviously staying at home all day could be taxing to the mind and to the body. So just make sure to step out a little bit if you working from home, and just try to keep that.
That's directed toward me.
Yeah, I'm just putting it
Go
out there for
outside, Peter.
everybody, but Peter, I'm gonna start saying, Peter, make sure to. No, man, you
Get
gotta
some
stay
outside.
healthy, man, because
Hmm.
we got a lot of work to do. You can't be
Who else
getting
is going
sick,
to do the
man.
work? Who else is going to do the work?
You can't be
Um,
getting sick and stuff. Like you gotta
yeah.
you gotta be ready to do all this.
But one thing I will say about my community here is that I really love the community here in Bloomfield. It is very diverse around here. Yeah, just like my neighbors, it's just like a colorful town over here. So,
Man, one of
um,
your name. Can you tell us about one of your
oh yeah,
neighbors?
yeah, I didn't want to give it away so fast, but one of my neighbors is Max Roach's daughter, Maxine Roach. For those who don't
Nice.
know, she is a cellist herself, but also educator and all around activist, and been part of the union for a long time, part of that board. And when I moved over here, I did not know that she was my neighbor, but I was driving back one time and um, I saw this person walk out of the car. I was like, wait, that person looks familiar. I was like, wait, that's Maxine Roach.
Maxine
I'm probably like
Roach.
one of the 1% of the population that might recognize,
Right,
you know.
right.
But
She was in that movie. She was in a movie with Tom Hanks not too long ago. I remember
oh
seeing
yeah, that's
her. I
right.
forget exactly the name of the movie. But man, that's amazing. Man, as we jump into this conversation, I like to just kind of start with your thoughts on this month, this
Mm.
AAPI Heritage Month. Can you share with us what is it that you feel about this month? What is it that it means to you?
Yeah, it's pretty heavy this year. Most definitely. Um, I didn't even know that we had an AAPI month
Mm,
until like even college. Like I've heard about it, but I've never seen it celebrated at such a large scale as this year.
mm,
There's definitely more of a push from different organizations that are putting stuff out there. So, my thoughts is that, it is a good opportunity, I think, for people to learn more about us. And us is a very large term,
mm.
you know. We're in fact we're still trying to learn about ourselves, right? And so I think this month is an opportunity to really engage in parts of our different Asian cultures um, that haven't been explored before. Um, and I am hearing that from the younger kids at school and stuff like that. They are being more cognizant of different Asian holidays as well as this particular month. So I only see it as a positive thing moving forward, and I'm hoping that the traction for it doesn't die down. Like next year, there should be as many events, as many celebrations as there are this year. So
Yeah.
that's yeah, that's kind of like my general thoughts on it. I'm just glad that people are um, staying engaged as much as possible. For me, it's it feels um, it feels like I want to do more this year versus like last year or any previous year to be exact. But yeah, I think from now on, people will take more of an initiative
Right,
every year
right.
during
I
this
mean,
time of the year.
since I know you, I remember, throughout the years, I've seen how you kind of really gotten closer to your community, your Asian American being part of, like, even in this pandemic year. I remember you started getting really into this network, events and seminars and webinars and whatnot. So I think that's really cool. And like you said, kind of just also knowing yourself, through an opportunity like this of like just putting it out there. I mean, I know there's been like really terrible, things happening lately. I wonder what is you do you feel like this is also a way that it's why is it that it's like it's being so much really noticeable nowadays is because of maybe all these bad things that are happening to the Asian community?
Yeah. To be honest, these attacks and have been happening for, the entire course of American
Mm.
history. Now, in terms of the degree of which the frequency of these things happen and are also publicized, it's definitely in the current news cycle as they do, Um, but I think the rise in the attacks, especially on like the elderly and
Mm.
those that are vulnerable, is just like it's really heart wrenching to watch, and it's unfortunately the news continues to, um, kind of what's the word? They try to like just make it more.
Perpetuate maybe.
Yeah, they just try to make it seem like it's, they're blaming like, the black community, or
Mm.
they'll try to like pin it in certain directions that it's just like, we need to look at the bigger issue here, um, which at the end of the day, does end up being about white supremacy.
Mm.
But deeper than that, it's just the structure in which this country has been built, and trying to deconstruct a lot of those aspects. So it's really unfortunate. I think there is definitely a rise in the attacks. I think in terms of what's being reported as a hate crime, those like are also I'm a little suspicious, because they always try to be like, oh, it wasn't a hate attack, but or it wasn't out of hatred, or out of race. But a lot of times it ends up being about that, and they're afraid to admit it. So we have
Yeah.
other organizations looking out for those statistics, which is really, I think that's the right way to do it. Um, but yeah, I think it's one of those things where a lot of our own communities are mobilizing their own,
Yeah.
organizations to help out with the local community, and that's what we can do at the moment. Um, yeah, but
Yeah, the
it's
local, right?
yeah. There's a lot to unpack when it comes to like all of these attacks. I've personally, tried to not seek out like the news that surround it all the time, because it does start to wear pretty hard on my. I just remember like these maybe like a couple weeks ago, when it was just like, everyone was really talking about it.
Mm.
Um, it just started to really wear on me. But at the same time, it's something that's been wearing on us for such our entire lives
Right.
in a way, right? And so when it comes to fruition, and when people start to recognize it, we also start to recognize it within ourselves. Um, and I think that struggle is just part of the growth of like living here. But at the same time, like it's been really helpful to raise this kind of awareness during this time frame. So
Yeah, I think so. I think like you mentioned, awareness is the first step that we need to take. We got to find out what the problem. I mean, a lot of us know what the problem is, but when it comes to a bigger uh, portion of society, and it's more people are aware. The hope is that we'll find solutions for these problems, and
mhm.
and man, that leads me to what one of the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about. That is, you are a big part of the community, of your generation of musicians of jazz. You're in besides doing
Mhm.
all these videos that you do lately, I can see the
Yeah, time
trombone
away
on the
from the horn.
back.
It's still
You know,
here, still exists.
I
Yeah.
can see a couple of cobwebs in the back over there, but it's no, I still hear it, and you played in Clubhouse, and you play, and you
All the
just
time.
did a live performance last week too. So it's how do you feel, man? I mean, before jumping so deep into, but how do you feel like things are coming back as for live music?
Yeah, things are bouncing back. Actually, Candlelight Lounge, which is that club in Trenton,
Yeah.
is reopening. Actually,
Oh
I thought they had closed indefinitely.
wow.
So actually, I have a gig on July 24th. The booking person had
Reach out.
contacted me, so I'm bringing my band over there. But it's been so long that it started, like I have to remember what that's like. But yeah, I mean, the wedding gigs are coming back.
Wedding gigs, yeah.
Outside performances, people are like, playing outside, which definitely usually happens during this time of the year anyway.
True.
But it's I do see a lot of people getting back to work, but not the frequency obviously not as much, but just the fact that we even have the chance to get together and commune, and just be like a family again. I
I
mean,
know.
that's something that I really miss probably the most, right? Like the music is really great all the time, but beyond that, just like being able to see like the friends, like
The
I just
hang.
remember playing yeah, like the wedding gig, like usually I go wedding gigs and like, oh, it's a wedding gig, right?
Right.
But like this past time, we were just like so happy, we were just like talking so much, right?
Right.
So
That's
it's
really cool.
social aspect,
I
yeah,
could see the light on people's faces, when I play a gig and it's like, oh
yeah,
wow, what's going on with that? And I hope, the people that are also, the audience members, I'm sure they're also really enjoying just having some live music back.
yeah.
We have some music that you prepare for us that we want to share with you, but
Hmm.
I just want to touch a little bit on your, if you can tell us about your background, where you started playing the music. You're a Jersey cat. You were born in New Jersey.
Well, I
Um,
was actually born in Baton Rouge,
oh, that's
Louisiana.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
I was
right.
only there for a year. I always say that just so people it makes me seem a little bit more authentic,
True. True. Yeah.
as a jazz musician, I guess, instead of saying Whippany, New Jersey is where I grew up. Yeah, not as good. But yeah, I was there for a year, and so but I don't remember anything. Obviously, my parents tell me a lot, but I don't remember anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like it's in my blood because I love. I've been in New Orleans twice, and I just really love it there. I love the music, like just New Orleans music in general. As always, it just makes people so joyous, and it has like that bounce to it. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's part of my blood. Anyway, yeah.
Nice.
So
But tell us a little bit about just your music, man. Like I mean the trombone. Why, man?
why the trombone? Why did I pick this
I mean,
instrument?
look,
No, I
you
was
could have
kidding.
picked like the saxophone or something. Well, I'm biased because I'm a saxophone
Yeah,
player.
says the saxophone player. Uh, yeah. So yeah, just a quick, I guess, recap of my life story. Rewind the tape. Yeah. I mean, I was born 1990. That reveals my age already, right?
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. I'm so old, dude. No,
Wait,
just
no,
kidding.
you're so young for some other
But
people.
I started on the Suzuki method when I was like 5 or 6, playing violin. So I remember going to like the local orchestra like building or whatever, and there was all these other kids like learning the violin. And basically, what the Suzuki method essentially is, it's the concept of like teaching music combination by ear and also
Mm.
by notes. I remember like this white sheet of paper. They would just write all the notes like hot cross buns.
Mm.
And then you would just have to, they would teach you like the fingerings for it, and then you would just play it, and back and forth between you and the teacher. So that was my, I started out on violin like most Asian people. More stereotypes. I'll live up to the stereotypes. And then I also played piano as well for maybe 1 or 2 years. See, my grandma on my dad's side, she's actually a piano
Oh,
professor.
okay. Wow.
Yeah. I'm here a copy of myself. Oh, just kidding. Okay, because
Sorry,
Candace is here
Candace.
on Clubhouse, listening both ways. That's all good. So yeah, I actually did piano for 2 years, but what happened was I didn't really like piano because I think most I guess East Asian people that have parents or grandparents that are serious about piano, um, the teaching method is very strict,
Mm.
like
Okay.
extremely strict. I just remember my my mom and my grandma would kind of like they wouldn't like yell at me, but it definitely be one of those things where if you did something wrong, hit the hand, right? Like,
Right.
no, wrong foot. So, a lot of that kind of like negative reinforcement wasn't really the way that I learned growing up. And that was like kind of what happened with me on violin as well. Like I
Mm.
had some really great teachers, but then like later, in high school, I had a Russian teacher that was just like, man, she
Strict.
would just yell at me every single, like, why didn't you practice? And your technique is horrible, right? And I'd be like, man, I'm just trying to play video games. I don't know, like I'm not trying to do this thing, right?
Still just trying to play video games.
Yeah, I'm just trying to play video games. I'm not trying to do this thing, That's okay. But yeah, so I started trombone when I was going back to fourth grade.
Mm.
Most people that grow up in the public school system here, like usually band starts at fourth grade. And so what happened was I had this whole list of instruments. Yeah, they would make you write like what your order of like instruments you want to play, right? So obviously a lot of people put drums at the top, they put like all the cool instruments, right?
Yeah.
And for most people, trombone was on the bottom. And I was the same way. I remember my list went something like trumpet, drums, saxophone, like basically everything. And then trombone was like near last. But what happened was I was the last, because my last name is Lin. I guess they went alphabetical. Like I was one of the last
Wow.
people to like get to pick
To
this
pick.
instrument, pick an instrument, right? And they already had like every other instrument like filled out, right? So the way to convince me was that they're like, oh yeah, feel free to try all the different mouthpieces. Try a saxophone mouthpiece, try a trumpet mouthpiece. Oh, that doesn't really fit you. That's what they said. I don't believe them. And
Wow.
so they gave me the trombone mouthpiece, and they're like, oh yeah, that
That's
that you
perfect.
sound great on that. You got a natural ability.
That
Look, I'm a kid. You believe me. Like, yeah, I sound good on this thing.
you're
And I
right.
was the
Yeah.
only I was the only low brass player for fourth and fifth grade. So that no tubas, no other
Wow.
trombone players. So oftentimes, even if I was playing like a part in the band, it would still be like a solo part.
You're
Like
the
even if it was like background part, right?
you're the best trombone player of the whole band.
I'm the best trombone player. Yeah. Oh man.
That's good, man.
It was like that, for all the way. Even in middle school, there really wasn't that many. There was like only a couple. So it always had that like special feeling for me. I felt like I was like different, I
Yeah.
was like, yes, like I played this instrument. And but I grew up in situations, most of my in my community is mostly like white Italian, historically that's the way it's been.
Hmm.
So there weren't that many like Asian people. There was almost no Hispanic people, and there was only one black person in our community.
Wow.
Growing up in high school, but that's a whole different story. But regardless, I said that because a lot of times growing up, I was like bullied for just being basically Asian,
Mm.
and just a lot of assumptions about like your character and whatnot. So for me, music has always been like as a way for me to not only escape from the realities of like maybe what people perceive me to be, but also allow me to have a voice like that was also super loud. Like trombone's just like super like in your face, right?
Yeah.
So for me it was like almost like a protest against like what was what people had thought about me, and like how I thought about myself, right?
Right. Right. Right.
um
Right.
and so like yeah, like trombone, I think that's why trombone also spoke to me so much, because it just had this like power that um I'm not power hungry or anything like that, but it was it was
Wow. It sounds like you are,
yeah, I
man.
know, right? Doesn't it sound like that? It sounds a
Wow.
little
That's all
yeah,
trombone players I've met. They just want to rule the
they
world.
just want to control everything in
It
life,
just, yeah, you're in the middle of the big band, so you control everybody. You make all the
It's not
arrangements,
like that.
and Jesus,
Yeah,
man. And
because
you, as an Asian American, what's your background in terms of the Asian
right,
part of your
right.
life?
The Asian, what's the Asianness in me?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you're asking. No, that's okay. Yeah, so the Asian part of me. So my parents, my whole family is from Taiwan.
Mm.
Both my parents grew up in Taipei themselves. generations and generations of my family has been in Taiwan. I actually have this book. Interesting enough,
Ooh.
my this particular my grandfather passed away a number of years ago, but he wrote an autobiography of himself.
Wow.
The problem is that it's all in Chinese. So me being super American, not knowing any Mandarin and not being able to read, I just look at the pictures and I'm just like, wow, this is deep. And but other than that, I just asked my wife to like translate for me. So, but here, like I see, I mean, my grandpa, at least on my dad's side, was around during the Japanese occupation in Taiwan. Like late 20s, I think that's when. Yeah. So it's
amazing.
it's pretty interesting history, and I really do consider myself Taiwanese American. Like that's every bio, anything that I put out is always starts with Taiwanese American, because I am, I'm
That's
really
who you are.
proud.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm really proud of like my culture, my people, my family. And I want to make that known. I want to make that the look. We're Taiwanese American,
Yeah.
like I'm always all about that. And organizations that I've been part of over the years have really made me reconnect with a lot of my past in that way, or at least a lot of my family history. So it's yeah, definitely Taiwanese American.
Man, your grandpa wrote an autobiography. He was also a scientist, right? Is that?
Yeah, he was a chemical engineer. Actually, that's been passed down to my dad as well. He's a chemical engineer as
Man,
well.
what happened, man?
I know, right? You have like all these professors, you have all of these, scientists, and then you're left with like grandchildren that could barely pay the bills. Okay,
No,
like
no.
what
I'm
a
just kidding. No, man, you have 2 albums out. You
yeah.
running a business, a couple
Yeah.
hustling, a couple businesses over here
I
and
know.
there.
I make it seem worse than it
Yeah,
is.
no,
It's really not. It's
You're
not.
you're doing your
It's
thing,
not.
man. I mean, with that in mind, I'd like to continue learning about your background for sure. I just want to show a song real quick before
Oh
we
yeah.
do that.
Oh, music. Yeah, that's what we
Music,
do.
yeah, this is supposed
Yeah.
to be because
Okay.
you're a musician. I want
I'm a what?
to so talking about the 2 albums that you've put out, man. I'm really proud of you as a friend, man. Like just to like really just. That's crazy, man. Just to put and you put them back to back. But we'll talk more about that.
Yeah.
We have one song that you have prepared for us. This is The Moon. The Moon
Represents
represents my heart. Can you tell us about this? What album is this from? And then we'll continue our conversation we had too.
Well, so this is actually a popular traditional Taiwanese song that was really made famous by Teresa Tang. And I'm not even going to try to say it in Mandarin.
Try it.
All my friends on Clubhouse are here, and if they hear my Mandarin, they'll disown me. They already disowned me once, so
okay.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, look, like anyone that is East Asian for the most part, I would say this song has really became popular like throughout other Asian countries as well. I remember playing this in like a Korean room on Clubhouse, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know that song," So what I did is for my first album, it's all Taiwanese and Chinese songs that I rearranged into a jazz format. And there's something that I just wanted to put out there first. It was like the first thing that came to my mind. I wanted to reach out to my own community, but also bridge that gap between what I considered a jazz community and like my own Asian community. So it's helped me to really be a part of different organizations as well. Like we perform this music for like so many different like Asian festivals that never had jazz before, right? So it's been like a really nice run with that particular album. But yes, enjoying the music. It's my arrangement of Moon Represents My Heart.
All right, let's check it out. Wow, man.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I get this chance to really talk about this because, when we talk all the time, we really don't get. Or when this album came out, I remember I checked it out and I was like, man, one day I'm gonna tell him that I really like his album. That day has come. I really like it,
Well, I
man.
appreciate that.
I think it is
Yeah.
bouncy. I think it's what's his name on bass?
Oh, it's Ben Rubens on
It's
bass.
Ben Rubens. I was
Yeah.
thinking.
So
Okay.
he used to call himself Benjamin Ruben Schneerman,
Oh,
but
okay.
that was just Ben Rubens. That's his original name.
Man, shout out. He's bouncy,
Yeah.
man.
Oh
He's
man,
like,
he's man. Let me
yeah.
read the rest of the people on this
Yeah.
album. So Anthony Nelson Jr. was on
Nice.
tenor saxophone, and he's the one that actually helped me produce this album as well. He came up
Awesome.
with like a lot of different things on the different tracks. We had Oscar Williams II on piano. Yeah, man, and Nick Cachopo on drums, and some guy named Peter Lin, I
Peter
guess.
Lin on trombone.
I don't know. I wasn't really feeling that though. So
Who hired that guy? Wow.
Yeah.
No,
Jeez.
man, love to. I mean, cause this, like you said, this is a traditional song, but I could see, I could hear that. I could hear you. I could hear you channel slide maybe a little bit on the arrangement. Like,
Yeah.
it's so cool, man. You didn't even go too crazy on putting all this chord substitution. This is so like. This is a song, but but man, tell us about the process of putting this album together, man. This is your first album.
Yeah, most definitely. I appreciate that. To be honest with these kind of songs, I grew up around my parents doing karaoke nights on the weekends, with and I back then I didn't appreciate it, because it was just like, your parents like sing super loud and people getting drunk and like, okay,
Right.
whatever. And the kids go play somewhere else, right?
But the music got
but
in there.
Exactly. Like I just remember these soaring melodies that were just like so catchy. And it kind of stays with you. And so, when I was re-exploring a lot of these songs, like, oh yeah, I remember like hearing this when I was younger. So I already had that like sense of the melodic structure in there. And it was just a matter of like infusing, what I had learned and experienced up to this point, combining it all together into making it kind of a different arrangement, but at the same time maintaining intact whatever
The melodies and
melody and the
essence.
feeling. This is usually a ballad. Most of these are usually ballads, like the Taiwanese music that I had taken on this album. A lot of them are slower, and are usually sung in a very beautiful way, right?
Yeah.
So and the lyrics usually match that as well. So having like this other vibe with it, I've had a number of people tell me they really enjoyed it that way too. So anyway, so that's majority of the songs on here.
Yeah.
Now in terms of putting this together, everything's independent. This is not like I didn't have a record label or anything like that. A lot of it was just the self will of like just needing I just felt the need to put something out there. And I never, no one's ever going to feel ready,
Right.
like to put something out, right? Like everyone's like, no, I'm not. I need like another year of practice. It's like,
Right.
if you're saying that, most likely it's never going to happen because, it's like, everyone always feels like that, right?
True. Very true.
But
in the music
I
industry.
I think to be honest, a lot of it just came out of the fact that I knew all these opportunities were out there to reach out to my own community and play for them. And I felt this was probably the best way to do it, where, I had spent all these years like practicing and, really being a part of the jazz community in New York and New Jersey. And I wanted to still play the music, but I was like, well, a lot of people are not going to relate with like jazz standards. My parents didn't grow up listening to this stuff, right?
Right. That's true. Makes sense.
Mhm. And that's why it's called With Respect, because it's both to respect to my own culture, but also to the elders, that is both within the jazz realm itself. Like I was like hanging out with Slide Hampton a lot, and so I wanted to dedicate some stuff to him, but also to my own grandparents, who really struggled to come over here,
Yeah.
and really make a living here. So that's why it's called With Respect. There's just so many like aspects to it.
Well,
yeah, it was hard.
Man, I think
it was hard to put together.
Right. I think I think from my perspective, listening to the whole thing, I remember Candace. She was like, "Oh, she put this on the car." We were listening to it the whole time, and it's just great. So if you haven't checked out this, for all the listeners, you haven't checked out this album, check it out. It's in all the platforms. It's called With Respect. This is only one tune in there. There's some really cool. There's a nice variety of arrangements. Is it all traditional songs, Peter, or do you also have some originals, right?
Yeah, one of them's an original, Born Here from There, which is like one of the first originals I was actually like somewhat proud of. And the other one was My Blues is the name of the track, and that's actually Slide Hampton's song. Okay. And so I rearranged it for like basically 4 horns, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah, trumpet, trombone, sax, alto, and tenor. And so I wanted that like vibe. And I had Winard Harper play on drums.
Ooh,
on that
shout
one
out to Winard Harper.
Yeah,
if you
shout
know
out Winard Harper.
Man, you got the cats on this album, man. It's I think I was there for a little bit when you were recording it, and I was like, man, this is gonna be really good. I mean, it's I'm so
oh yeah, you were taking pictures that day.
I was taking some pictures. Yeah. By the way, you never gave me credit for the pictures you used in the album.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What? I don't. Oh, shit.
I'll be expecting my check.
Let me of $2 here.
$2.
I'll Venmo to you now.
You can Venmo me now, but yeah. No, well, that was a lot of fun. You had a lot of people too there. You also had you almost had like 2 sets of bands on the album on the session, right?
Yeah, that's right. Because one of them was like basically my core group, which was Ben Kovacs, Ben Rubins, Nick Cachopo, Oscar Williams, and then the second core was with some other of my not only great friends but also great mentors.
Yeah.
James Zolar on trumpet, Anthony Ware. I had Charlie Sigler and Winard Harper. So like it was a conglomeration of things, but I wanted to really combine all my experiences up to that point into this album, and so that was the way that I was really thinking about it. Also, shout out to the illustrator Kelly Lin. She no relation at all, but she drew all like anything that you see that is on my music. She illustrated all that. So she's really fantastic artist.
Amazing work.
Amazing work she does.
I don't know. We need to hit her up, man. Now that we're thinking about it, because we know this graphic work.
She's premium. She's premium. You got. Yeah, no. Like if you guys ever need like really great artwork for your album, like I remember she did this in like it only took like 2 days or something like that. She's got like one of those eyes that's like, oh yeah, let me just bam, and it's just like perfect, right?
Man, I gotta give it up to you, really, man, because you put this album, like you said, you put it on your own. You raised the money, you made sure that the money, the people were getting paid, and the distribution of it. The album is probably still being played all around, right?
I remember for a hot minute it was actually pretty popular in Japan and stuff, or not popular. I would say that like it definitely got a number of plays over there. I was surprised because I was like, okay, but at the same time, again, a lot of these songs are traditional Taiwanese songs, and like if you're searching for it on iTunes or Spotify, if you scroll down far enough, I'm sure you'll find it. You know, so scroll down far enough, like
it's easy.
5 feet.
Peter Lin, you just look him up. He's you're also in
My
Bandcamp.
Down.
I like to talk about Bandcamp too, because as you know, it's the best way to really support the artist, right? So
directly,
you want to support the artist, make sure to get the album directly. You'll get a physical copy. You probably also you
won't get a physical copy, but you'll get a digital copy.
You'll get a digital copy from Bandcamp, but the artist gets more of the cut. Yeah,
correct.
So we'll drop a link on your Bandcamp there. But man, as we're talking about this. I know we were having a conversation about your background and getting into the trombone. You went to William Patterson for your jazz studies. I mean, school. I like talking about school, but obviously you're beyond that. You are part of this community in the New York, New Jersey area. people, I mean, people knows you start
I guess.
organizing things. So can you talk about like that being part of the community? If you want to talk about school, that's cool too. But talk about why does Peter Lin one day wanted to like set up like a New Jersey jazz sessions and like go to
Mm.
all these jam sessions
Mhm.
and set like why like
That's a good point. Yeah, I think I guess like contextually, I went to school, William Patterson, actually for music ed and jazz studies for my first year, and I quickly found out that I didn't like music education in that context. I felt it was too stringent. It wasn't like you had to learn all these other aspects. That was just like, wait, this is not really what I thought music education was about. So I dropped it as my first year, and I just ended up doing jazz studies performance, which is the most useful degree. Anyone looking to get extremely useful degrees. Just
okay.
no sarcasm.
No sarcasm there, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course. No, but seriously, it's all tied together. I'm glad that you brought up both aspects of school and community because at William Patterson, what was obviously the faculty is great. Classes, they're okay, right? But at the end of the day, it was really about who you're hanging out with, and who your class was. And luckily, I was in a class that was like super, not only hardworking and like really knew what they wanted to do in life, but they were just all around great people and really into the engagement of their own local community. So Charlie Sigler, shout out to him because yeah, one of my best friends in the world, man.
Yeah.
He basically he was the glue for not only our class but for all the classes coming after because he was big into like hanging out as much as possible in the jazz community that was outside of the walls of the school. I just remember like maybe after a few days, like, oh, where's the places to go? You grew up here in Jersey. You should know. I was like, actually, I don't know. I've never been out to a jazz club. I've never been, to a jam session. I don't know, And he was like, wait, how do you not know? And then he started doing some research, and then we started hitting up all these places. Basically, I got the courage to do it in sophomore year of college because freshman year, oh my God, maybe I went one time during freshman year, but I would not have survived. But essentially what happened was sophomore year of college, we started going out to as many jam sessions as possible. For those who don't know what a jam session is, essentially what it is it's historically traditional. It's kind of within the tradition of jazz to pass this music down orally. That's the way that it's always been passed down for that matter. So the best way to do it is to do it in these situations where you're able to play with each other, you're able to learn repertoire together, and you're able to develop the language together. And so jam sessions serve that purpose. It allows the older generation to be able to play for audiences, but at the same time be able to bring on younger musicians onto the stage and not only have them have the opportunity to play, but also to groom them and to teach them like this is how you lead a band, this is how you play a song, right? And so that's what jam sessions are about. Now, how people actually perceive them, I mean, that's a whole different story. A lot of it doesn't necessarily pan out that way all the time. Gets a little chaotic, and sometimes people are like, I don't feel like going to a jam session because blah 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 blah.
Right,
But
right.
you know what I mean? It can be like that. But for the most part, I've always been the kind of person that always felt the need to uplift other people around me. And so the jam sessions was like an opportunity to really meet as all these great musicians and to really meet other people like me that were also learning, and at the same time learn from those who are super super experienced, right? And it was like so valuable. I started to learn more about like the local musicians that were like touring around the world. I started going to the New York City a lot to connect with a lot of musicians over there as well. And like I was early on in my playing stage. I didn't really know that many tunes or anything like that, but I made sure to like learn as much as possible.
Yeah.
And come back next time trying to be better. A lot of people get discouraged when they go to jam sessions, and that's very normal. But at the end of the day, it's a very caring community, and if you're willing to learn and you're willing to listen, then the older generation usually are very open to like putting out that education as much as
possible.
Is
definitely the jam sessions is a topic that we can definitely really expand on.
Man.
And I do remember when I first moved out here about 6 years ago that I was like looking for jam sessions, because that's also for the people that like you were saying that never really heard about this, it's also a way to network, and also a way to try to get some work with some people. They hear you play, and they might need somebody next week or the following week, or you maybe if you're at a certain level, you'll be able to do the gig. Things and I remember checking out like just really digging in, just because I moved it. I was playing. That's all I was doing back in Texas, and I moved out here, and I was like, I had no gigs. So I remember checking out NJ Jazz Sessions, still running, that you were doing it, and I was like, who's this guy? What the? How does he? Okay, he's got all the jam sessions listed here. And I was like, okay. So I started going through the list. So I think that's really cool, man, that that you've been very open about it, and you're also you're welcoming to other people. I think I think it's really cool, and I give it up to you for doing that, man.
I appreciate it. I'll stay on this topic for a little bit longer, just because NJ Jazz Sessions is a Facebook group that I created back in college, because I saw there was no centralized place to find out where the local jam sessions were. I think during that time period, I was just so adamant about people going to jam sessions, because for me, it was like a whole nother world that I was not aware of. I was going to, this was also a way for, like the almost white suburban me to go into other communities that were often, Black or Latino, like I was going places in Newark and Jersey City and Harlem, and at the same time going to like these suburbs where, jam sessions are happening too. So you see a glimpse of like the, just the diversity of when we say jazz, and like the jazz audience as well.
Yeah.
I remember there used to be this one spot in Newark called Skippers. And man, it was a party every single week. It was an organ jam that Radham Schwartz ran.
Shout out to Radham.
Yeah, shout out to Radham Schwartz, really great organ player around here, and well known around here. So man, but that place had history, and as soon as you walked in, you knew, because everyone they know the tunes. They know the tunes better than you do, and you're going to school and like trying to write this music, right? So I remember they would sing there I go, there I go, there I go, right? And I'd just be there being like, what are they singing? You're like being so stupid, right? So like it's opportunities like those that I would have never ever experienced in my life if it hadn't been for seeking
going out,
right? So I wanted to lend that opportunity to everyone. I felt like that was something that was just like people didn't go just because they didn't know. That's what I had thought back then. I was like, okay, so let me just make a group.
Most definitely, yeah. And you put it out there, and I think that was a lot of help, at least for myself.
Well, I appreciate
to just really see what's going on. I mean, often that's what happens. Like it's not like, oh my God, there's no people that play or like jazz. Well, the problem is that the spaces maybe are not as public as we would want to. Here's
advertised
and
things
things like that. So I give it up for you, man. I like to check out another tune before we continue our conversation.
Sure.
This other tune that we have it's gonna be, let me ask my producer exactly what is the song we're gonna do. Yes, a Path to Understanding. We also recorded this with Radham Schwartz's organ big band.
Yeah, I've recorded in so many different contexts at this point, which is really nice. And just to give an explanation of
Yeah,
the tune,
tell us about this.
understanding. Actually, this is kind of like perfect for especially right now. Basically, I wanted this to be. I don't know if the music came to me first or the title, but basically, the essence is that we need to begin this path, this journey to better understand each other. And if we don't engage in that, if we don't willingly put ourselves to try to understand each other, then we're never going to get anywhere. And that was, something that I had realized when, especially being more involved in Black communities that I was not like aware of at all, growing up.
Okay.
And there's a lot of like held biases and stereotypes that is unfortunately plagues, some certain East Asian communities that a lot of it is just about like communication, and like how many of each other do you know, right? And so I felt the need to like bridge that gap as much as possible throughout my life. And so this is kind of like a tune that, demonstrates that, or reflects upon that aspect.
Man, that's really cool. I don't think you ever shared that with me, but thanks for sharing it now. It's I remember playing this arrangement with the band and hearing it in this album. So, tell us from what album this is. Is this from your
this
first
from,
or
second? And
second
my
album.
last. My second and last album ever.
For now.
New Age, Old Ways. Again, illustration by Kelly Lin on the front here. And this is actually all my band members on the front. I don't know if you can tell, this is me, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wait, no.
Well, this is definitely me.
That guy looks very slick in the front. That doesn't.
Too slick. But yeah, so this is my second album, all originals, no chords, no piano.
Wow.
It's just me, tenor saxophone with JD Allen, which was like, oh my God, that was like,
JD.
I'm looking forward to playing with him again in the future. Nick Cachopo and Ian Kensler on the bass. So,
nice.
The common thread between this and the and the first album is just me and Nick for the most part, but it's all originals on this album. So, this was a period of time when I really felt the need to have that creative energy and like put like stuff out there. I didn't really care. I was like, I just need to write.
Yeah, man. Let's check out this tune and then we can talk about the little extra thing that comes with this album too as well. So check it out. This is A Path to Understanding by Peter Lin from his second album. Hope you guys enjoy this.
Woo.
I can see that.
It's got
man.
that grunge. It's got that grunge energy to it, man.
Man, I can see you. I can see why you have Nick in both albums. You know, man. Wow, that's crazy, man.
So JD met Nick because I put them on a gig together. So now, like, I guess, well, it's gone through developments, but the JD Allen Trio for a long time was Ian Kenslar and Nick Cachopo. So, this album was after like 20 gigs that we all did together, So, I felt like this track could have went on longer, but because I'm trying to make it into an album, you gotta make these songs shorter, right?
Shorter, yeah.
So like now I'm listening back on it, I'm like, man, this could have like went on, and that's how most of our gigs were. Most of these tunes that we played that were originals, like hard. Yeah, we just go hard, like for like 11 minutes or something, and
Nick
people just really
such
Nick
powerful
just keeps it going, dude.
Drummer, man. I mean, his concept and his grooving on this
it's like this.
I mean, also, Ian holding the fort, and obviously, I mean, all of you guys, JD,
creating the textures and stuff like that.
And just let me ask you, what's the main difference? I mean, besides not having a piano player on this album between the first one and the second one, you did something different, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. So a lot of it, I was kind of hearing a lot of like those piano-less groups in the past, and I'm blanking on certain names, but like basically I was listening to a lot of that kind of music, and I was like, man, there's a lot of room for exploration without the chords, because a lot of times when piano players play a chord, you're kind of trapped. I don't want to say trapped, but you're kind of like living in their world of like harmony, like, okay, here's the chord, like now play the things that are like around this chord, or things that are outside this chord. But instead of that, I wanted at that time I was hanging out a lot with Slide Hampton, a lot, like every day for like 2 years. And those who don't know, Slide Hampton is the NEA jazz master, has like really he's like one of the grandfathers of trombone. But not only that, arranging. A lot of people don't know his arranging, but
amazing.
It's some of the most beautiful music and arrangements you ever heard in your life. So I had the opportunity to hang out with him, Abel and I, actually a lot, doing his big band stuff. But I was over at his apartment like for 2 years, and I went on tour with him a little bit, like helped him go on tour different places, and just generally helping him everyday life. And then we also play tunes like every day. We just practice, we trade choruses back and forth for hours.
That's so crazy. I mean, we're talking, I'm sorry, I just want to give context, but like we're talking about a man that was, when you were hanging out with him, he was what, 80 something?
Yeah, he was he had just turned 82, I think. Yeah, 80 something like that.
And he was like playing every day, and he was chatting with you. Wow.
He cut me so hard, he cut me so hard all the time, and he wouldn't say, he didn't need to say anything.
Right.
I would just know.
You just knew.
You just knew. You just felt it. You're like, oh shit, gotta practice.
This 80-year-old man just cut me really bad.
Cut me so hard. But no,
it's like, Slide, it's Slide, man.
Yeah,
hope he's doing. Shout out to Slide. Shout out to Rosalinda too. She's also checking it out. She's talking about she was echoing what you were talking about in terms of the jam sessions. How like also people that musicians that come out to jam sessions, how the opportunities that they have to learn how to that they have of learning how to accompany singers too, all these different things, playing tunes in different keys. So shout out to Rosalinda too as well. And
shout out to the 24 people listening on Clubhouse too.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out to all the people in Clubhouse. Very nice.
I have a lot of great moderators up here with me on Clubhouse. By the way, if you need a Clubhouse invite, just let me know. I got like 5 left. So
Peter has definitely been an advocate of Clubhouse and
addict. Replace the word addict with advocate. I like that.
Yeah, man. You see, that's right. In public, when we talk in public, I said advocate, but then it's really an addict.
Addict. It's really an addict. Yeah.
Man, it's been really cool to have you. I wanna hear one more tune before because man, it's your music. I really gotta give it to you, man. Your music. You know, when I met you, I was like, this guy. I don't know if he can play or whatnot. But then I was like, oh, okay.
An Asian trombone player. What are we expecting here? You know.
I'm just kidding. I didn't think that. I just
no. I totally get it.
No, my thinking as soon as I moved out here, I was like, man, everybody's gonna cut me. You know, everybody. I mean, it's you're in this area. Everybody, the concentration of musicians trying to play. It's so much. It's crazy. So, God, but it was definitely a pleasure to crash your birthday party that first time I met you.
I was inebriated. That's the word. Pretty hard.
Anyways, yes. Man, it's been really cool to see the things that you're doing with your music and the people that you've empowered through your music as well. I mean, like you said, now all this other people are playing together because you put them in the same gigs and things like that. That's what you. Mm-hmm. That's what you got to do is to build a community. So I want to hear one more tune from your second album. Oh yes, tell us about that piece of paper you're holding. It's something else. And what's going on with that?
This is the craziest thing I've done in my life. But I made a comic book that went with the album. People on Clubhouse can't see it, but I'll PTR to a different picture later. But basically, I'm really into anime and manga, and so like I wanted something. I was like, well, it'd be cool. There's like a really hip jazz version of it. So I had my illustrator, Kelly Lin, the usual person,
nice.
Create the illustrations, and I storyboarded the entire thing. Like I came up with the plot, it's hilarious, and it features like all of my band members.
Wow.
And she like, man, she went hard. She really, I mean, how many manga books do you see that have like actual playing like real?
That's so cool.
You know what I'm saying? Like accurate. Okay, but
so you wrote all the conversation, everything, but then she illustrated.
I wrote every single box like to the T. I think I was just at that point I wasn't really doing much in my life. I was like, well, what can I do to take up my time? I was like, let me write this, let me write this thing.
I'm sure you were doing other things too at the same time.
I was
known of multitasker over here,
but it's impressive. If anything, get the album just so you can see the artwork, because it's at least it's so she did such a great job.
Man, I remember when you told me about the idea, and I was like, man, that sounds like a lot of work. And then like a couple months later, you were like, yeah, I'm already done with it, and I was like, okay. No pressure over here. No, that's really cool, man. Congratulations for that. So the tune that we're gonna hear is still from this album, New Age Always, and this is
title track.
The title track. This is your tune, right?
Yeah, this is my tune as well. Yeah, a original, and I don't really know how to describe this. Besides, some people have said that it sounds very industrial.
Wow.
I think it's because what the vibe that I was going for is kind of like the aspect of new age, old ways, right? Like with jazz, it's so like it's coming from a deep tradition over 100 years old, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have like what we consider old tradition, but then you have like a whole new like wave of musicians that are always coming in and learning and pushing it forward,
right?
And so this song kind of reflects that idea of like, okay, we're playing something that, is kind of a call to our ancestors musically and culturally speaking, but at the same time also paving the way forward, to create something new and to create something exciting at every turn point in history. So
nice.
New age, old ways.
All right, let's check it out. And remember to stream if you want to stream, but buy the album. We're putting out the links, and make sure to follow. So this is New Age Always by Mr. Peter Lin tonight here.
Buy my shit. open ended.
Man, what a groove for sure. What a tune, man. It sounds very industrial.
Yeah,
Well, you
I
say
know,
that.
right? That's what
That's what you said.
that's what Nick said when he listened to the mix. He's like, he was like, I'm driving through like these industrial places, and it's just like totally matches the vibe.
Excuse me.
Are you okay there?
I'm all right. No, I'm okay.
Okay.
Hey, man, it's been my pleasure to talk to you again. Besides all the times that I get to talk to you, but man, thank you for your time. Thanks for sharing your journey in this music and what you do. I encourage you to keep doing your thing, man. For those people listening that don't know yet, Peter and I, we also work together with Yardbird Entertainment. Also, really just trying to put the music, jazz, and also coming up with different solutions for people in the music community. So make sure to stay in touch with us, stay in touch with Peter. Make sure that this music is worth checking out over and over and sharing. He's a wonderful musician. Make sure to to stay in touch with us. Go to our website and just sign up for our newsletters. We're putting out newsletters where we letting you know what's going on, who's coming up next, who's doing what, and what we have. VJ Ira coming in on the show too as well.
Yes.
The last month, the last Wednesday of this month, and some other people coming up. It's a wonderful thing. And Peter, thank you again. Give us a couple of words of wisdom, man. What are you doing, or are you playing, performing?
Yeah. I'll give a reset for my Clubhouse friends here.
Yeah.
We have a club now. We have a Yardbird Entertainment
That's
Club,
right.
Yardbird Productions. Please follow us by clicking on that green icon in the top left-hand corner. Only people on Clubhouse know what I'm talking about. And please follow us. Be sure to follow all the moderators up here as well. I just wanted to give a shout out to the great moderators on Clubhouse that's been helping me this entire time.
Yeah.
Otavia, Joni, Stephanie, Victor, and Orpat. Like, it's just been they're always supporting
Helping
whatever craziness that I have going on on Clubhouse. So big shout out to them. One thing I do want to mention before I go is that if anything right now, one of the best ways to help out the AAPI community, obviously there's a issue of security and just your own local community and being engaged. But on top of that, it's really important to uplift the AAPI voices that are oftentimes not as heard in especially public situations or mainstream media. But on top of that, like, really just encouraging the artistry that is coming out of the AAPI community. It's like programming like this that you guys put on, as well as other organizations being more cognizant, is what allows us to also be able to have a voice and for people to hear our story. Because at the end of the day, people really don't know who we are. A lot of it is just a lot of times misconceptions or stereotypes. The best way to break that down is to have a conversation with literally the person
That's right.
is that particular ethnicity. It's like there's no other way around it. So it's what you guys are doing right now, that's super important. And I encourage everyone to do their part in try and uplift their own AAPI community. Any of the artists that you do know, like, always reach out to them, see how you can help out. A lot of us don't end up having to do a lot of things ourselves. So we always appreciate any of the help that's out there. And just big shout out to everyone that does like these things behind the scenes, because it's like it's hard to notice all the time. Having a conversation about that earlier, and it's so needed right now.
Definitely.
And, so
Man,
uplifted voices.
Definitely, I think so. I'm very grateful that you were here to share, like you said, and to on our effort to understand more about this community and learn more about your culture and the things that you do. Thanks so much for sharing the music, And thanks everyone for tuning in. Shout out to all the Clubhouse people over there helping out. And make sure to jump onto that platform. Is really
Clubhouse after party.
Oh no after party over here. Well, if you want to jump into Clubhouse, for sure, it's a cool platform that also allows to express different things that are happening in life. So thank you so much, and see you guys next week. Don't forget to sign up to our newsletter at TheJazzExchange.org, and then follow us on social media and give us a like and whatnot. So you stay safe, and thank you, Peter, again, and I'll talk to you probably after this.
Thank you. I know, right? I've got work to do, man. Okay, open up that spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Abel. Thanks a lot, Candace. You guys are like my best friends.
Sounds
here.
good,
so,
man.
Well,
definitely. You take care. You be safe, man, and everyone stay safe. And see you guys next week.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.
See ya.